It is TorontoUnicorn, and this episode is a video episode, but only because I have my Galaxy pajamas on, and I thought you'd want to look at that instead of just listening to the audio, because I don't always show my face. I'm not always looking into the camera when I talk, especially when it's a personal diary. So that is what this is. I have had a whirlwind of the last month. I have so much to share, but it's not all going to be that interesting to everybody. And so I'm trying to find the balance between how much do I go into about what I've been doing and the work involved in launching a new online learning academy, and then how much do I just keep the secret sauce. First off, I have been through such an ordeal, like learning a brand new website builder, WordPress.org, was completely foreign to me. And I was struggling with the most basic things, like putting a header in the center instead of left aligned. I am not an idiot. I know how to left and center align things, but what was showing up in my website editor and what was showing up on my website were two different things. So luckily I was really able to lean on my, AI chatbot guy to help me with every step of the way, including like website troubleshooting. And so I was able to build a website from start to finish without any training. Now, should I have taken some fucking training? Yes. Should I even have hired somebody to build a beautiful website? Yeah, maybe. But I wanted control over every piece of it, and I wanted to know how to robustly manage and handle the maintenance of a site like this. And so I have built it from the ground up. It meant I had to learn all about plugins and different, educational course platforms that I had to choose from. And then not only did I just get the options that are available to everybody, I had to pick options that were comfortable with sex education content. Okay, so that's not everybody, and that's not things like Kajabi, which is the most mainstream, course software there is. So I can't use mainstream tools all the time. And so I definitely found some vendors that I was able to, provide these courses. Not only that, I had to find a video hosting vendor to host my uncensored and charmingly vulgar courses that I've made. So some of the videos were clean enough that I could put them on Vimeo and link them in and embed them into the courses. And then there's certain ones that I've had to write even in the title, not for Vimeo. If I'm going to talk what happens in a threesome, I need to talk about sex. And so those videos were not put on Vimeo, but I've learned over the years where to put things. Sometimes you got to hire a service to solve a problem, and things like getting my own email set up. Like I was using my Gmail, and I was giving that to people as my business email because I was like, who wants to fucking pay for their own email? But turns out I needed to, so that my business looks credible, including in whether it goes into people's spam folder or not. And so, yeah, now there's $40 a year to basically connect a new mail at TorontoUnicorn to my website, so that when I email out, like, thanks for your purchase, it's coming from, it looks like more of a legit source than, my Gmail address. So these are the things that I was like, fuck, like every step of the road, there was something new I had to figure out. And it was something I hadn't faced before. And so I did rely on AI a lot to guide the way, including troubleshooting. And by the way, if I could recommend AI for anybody who isn't already using it, use it when you don't know how to solve a computer problem. It is just the best tech support because it knows everything. And so it's like, today I used it to fucking troubleshoot my Nespresso machine. Okay. It wasn't working. And I asked ChatGPT, I didn't even know what model it was. And so I took a picture of the serial number and on the thing, and I uploaded it to AI, and it told me what model it was. So I was like, yeah, this shit is helpful. So if you're looking for a reason to use AI, tech support is probably your easiest, most convincing use case, because it helps solve a problem for you. Instead of you trying to adapt to a tool, this tool is coming to your rescue. So that's my thoughts on that. But anyways, it has been to my rescue. Like, it has helped me write ad copy. So just today I recorded and posted my first ever, self-made, self-promoted pre-roll advertisements on my podcast. And so I have a few different versions. One of them is for my sex and swinging podcast. And that one I have running on almost all episodes. And then I have my sex stories podcast where, I only wanted to put ads on the videos or the episodes over 5 minutes. And so I went and pick and choose which ones to have ads. So that's what I was doing today. It was, for the first time, really plugging my ad space with my own business. Like that is what I did today. Today's what? April 7th, 2026. And I today, for the first time, really went through all my podcast episodes for, most of my podcasts and plugged in an ad. And what did that do for me? It made those podcasts and those episodes valuable. Because that is ad space that could cost money, right? Just because I don't have a lot of ad people filling those spaces right now doesn't mean those spaces aren't valuable, right? But it's really hard to get sex positive advertisers. Like not everybody wants their product put in front of these kind of audiences for some reason. So it is the case, but I have solved that problem finally, 6 years into my YouTube journey, by realizing that I needed to be the product that I'm selling. I needed to use my own ad space for my own business. But up until 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a business, right? I had a fan page. And yeah, I can promote my OnlyFans like only so many times, but not everybody wants to see me naked either. You know what I mean? Like not everybody wants to see my sex videos or my intimate behind the scenes, this is me eating dinner with R or, whatever. Like, so that's like not everyone's cup of tea. And so I had to build something else that was like more mainstream appropriate. That's like, hey, do you want to go to a sex club and you have no fucking idea where to start? Well, here's a comprehensive course, with video lessons and separate modules so that you can pick and choose the content you consume to help prepare you. I go over everything from the etiquette of like a dungeon, etiquette of a glory hole, what to wear to a sex club, what to bring, how to talk to people, how to even ask to participate. I go through lessons on how to do that because there's a right way and a wrong way. And so I know my sex course, my Sex Clubs 101 is over 5 hours of content. So it is my big flagship program, but I've got a few others that I am incredibly proud of. One of them is the Single Men's Survival Guide to Sex Clubs. So my heart goes to single men who try and walk into these sex clubs and acclimatize because it isn't easy. It isn't even intuitive sometimes. And I've seen men, kind of stumble and make mistakes and sometimes even costly mistakes like getting banned because they didn't understand the etiquette and the rules. And so I have built a whole course dedicated to helping the mindset of a single guy so that when they walk in there, they're not only prepared, but they feel like they've got strategic advantage in the field, which is, a competitive place for single men. So I also have one called How to Be a Single Woman Unicorn in the Lifestyle, and it's for single women or divorced women or whoever that wants to explore what it's like to be that, mythical, sexual being that likes to join couples for threesomes. And so I have a whole course on how to screen couples, what to look for, how to make sure, you protect and ensure your own safety, and, just things like how to interact with a couple after the threesome I talk about, because you don't want to turn into some, stage 5 clinger, you want to manage your expectations. I think in one of the episodes, I even talked to the whoever's listening, and I was like, look, you might not see them again. Like you might fuck them once, even though you like them, and never see them again. And that you've got to come to terms with the fact that that's okay. And that's sometimes part of the fantasy for the couple, especially. So there's things like that. So I have those courses, and then I also have Swinger Lifestyle 101. This is going to be your basic general onboarding to the lifestyle. What is full swap and soft swap? What are all the different swinger terminologies, and as well as it goes into sex club etiquette as well. So some of the courses have crossover lessons. So for example, my STI protection lesson will be in all of my flagship programs, not just the Sex Clubs 101 one. And so there'll be crossover. But so those are some of my biggest ones. But the first one I ever put my heart into was called Threesomes 101, From Fantasy to Reality, a Unicorn's Guide for Couples. This is what I designed from my single woman unicorn perspective to give advice to couples on how to actually not only find a unicorn, how to talk to the unicorn, how to treat the unicorn, before, during, and after, right? And so I talk about how to take a good profile picture, what should be on your profile, things like that. And it's funny because when I was doing this training, me and my partner in real life are looking for a single woman to join us for a threesome. And it's funny because I had looked at my profile on the Oasis site, and it was just me still. And like, I didn't say I was looking for what I was looking for. And I had no pictures of my partner. And I was like, okay, I am breaking my own advice. If I am looking for a single woman, I need to put pictures up of my partner. I need to say, what we're looking for and what we're also offering up, kind of thing. And so I did. I made those changes to my profile because I was like, well, fuck, if I'm not going to take my own advice, who else is gonna? So anyways, it's just a funny little side note. So those are my flagship programs. Now I also have a bunch of mini courses that I basically took some specific lessons out of the flagship programs and packaged them into what I call quick wins, which are maybe, 20 minutes long instead of 5 hours, right? So yeah, the How Not to Get Rejected at a Sex Club is one of my favorite little mini courses because it just covers the basics: how to talk to people, how to not be creepy, what are the things that annoy people and piss people off. There's things like standing too close to them when they're playing, or staring too long, or getting too close to them and accidentally rubbing up against people in the sex club's like a huge no-no. So like I go over these things for the people that just want that crash course to quickly, the quick and dirty, what do I need to know to not fuck this up? That's available too. So I even have a free course that I put called what actually happens in a sex club, and it's a one lesson. It's a good one. It's comprehensive, it's uncensored, and it's free, and it's on my Level Up with TorontoUnicorn site. So I have been putting my heart and soul into packaging these courses, proofreading them, right? Every single one of them has, subtitles or captions that appear on screen. And instead of YouTube, where I just ignore them, and even if they call me Tranny Unicorn or China Unicorn, I just leave it, mostly because I didn't know how to edit it until recently. And now it's because I refuse to edit old episodes at risk of putting them through a review. So I just let it live. But in a professional course, I don't want inaccuracies or spelling mistakes in the captions. And so every single one had to get proofread, edited, thumbnails, titles, writing descriptions, and all of that. So the fact that I haven't checked in on my diary in 3 weeks does not surprise me. This has been the most intensive time of my TorontoUnicorn career. And it's been a big shift, because I think what's really coming into focus for me now, even if I might have was wondering or wondering about this earlier, the shift is clear. I am no longer going to sex clubs and partying all the time. It's not what I want to do, and it's not what I'm doing. Most of my friend group has also kind of toned it down. When we get together now, me and the girls from my YouTube channel, there's usually no cameras around. It's usually like a potluck, or we're getting together for someone's birthday. And that's how I like it, because these are my friends in real life. They were never just my channel friends, right? But what's different is, yeah, we all hang out, but we all used to hang out at sex clubs, and now we're hanging out at people's houses with a big plate of food, or we go to high tea sometimes just to get dressed up, even though we're filthy women on the inside. I'm saying that lightheartedly. We could all get dressed up and go and put our pinkies up and have high tea. So this is kind of the shift that has become undeniable. The shift that I am not the TorontoUnicorn of 2022 or 2023, swinging from the, swinging raptors or rafters, so to speak. It's like I was having threesomes and group sex and all of that, or hookups, because I was single, and almost every time I went to the club was a new opportunity, whether I met somebody or not. Now, when I go to the club, it's usually with my partner, and it's not as often because it's frankly very expensive, right? It's $100 to go to Oasis as a couple, sometimes $115, right? And it's like, okay, so you make a date night out of it. But when I was a single woman, I was getting in for $15. So it was just like an easier choice. And so I know I went to the club recently, and we left after a few hours, and I remember thinking, well, shit, like that felt like a waste of money, because yeah, we went, but like the crowd wasn't very social and people weren't very chatty, and yeah, we saw sex, but I think I've seen sex so many times now that it doesn't even register as exciting anymore in my body. And so I think I'm losing interest, frankly, in just going and observing sex. I think I like being an orgy director. I like participating in the execution of a scene, but to simply just sit there and watch people, it's kind of lost some significance to me. And I think that just comes with being desensitized, frankly. So these are things that I've had to acknowledge, right? I used to be so shocked going to a Bukkake event, and now, I mean, it barely phases me. And I wish it were a little different, but I also realize that in life, the more you get exposed to something, the more you become desensitized to it. And so it's true. But I also don't feel like I'm lacking anything either, if that makes sense. I feel like I've conquered the Mount Everest of sexual expression. And I don't think I'll ever have any regrets about what I didn't try, because I tried everything I wanted to try. And it was fun. I mean, I still want to have a threesome with my partner. That hasn't happened yet. We're looking into it. But outside of that, I've pretty much accomplished what I want to accomplish. And that's the thing that goes for my friends too, is some of my friends have literally accomplished everything on their sexual bucket list. And so when you're done, you're done. Yeah, you could add it on a few times, but isn't that just like playing like the top level of Super Mario, like for the 16th time instead of like conquering it? It's like, yeah, eventually you have to, it feels like you're replaying the same level of a video game and trying to get the same dopamine high when you get it or you pass it. And like, I don't know if that analogy makes sense to people, but for me, it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't really have the same commitment to seeing some things through like that. I don't know. I think I'm rambling, but what has shifted for me is not only the realization that that time of my life of me clubbing and swinging from the rafters is over, and it might not be over forever. I mean, in the future, if I ever became, on the market again as a single woman, you better be damn fucking straight. I'm going to go and be a unicorn again, because that was fun. And especially because it can make you feel a lot less lonely in life when you have the opportunity to just go and be, joining other people and having these great experiences. So for now, I have come to that realization, and now it's time to educate, right? Now it's time to take everything that I have learned and seen and discovered and to translate it into timeless lessons and content that are there, available for download, instant streaming for people who want to learn. And so now, like, whenever I used to get an email from a fan or, a Reddit message that's like, I'm looking for advice on this, I used to almost ignore them all because I didn't have time or mental energy to respond to every single request for information. I'm a busy woman and I don't have time to give advice out to people I don't even know for free on the internet. I basically have 1,000 videos on YouTube with my advice in it, but some people want to come straight to the source. So this is now an opportunity for me to have something to respond to those people with that isn't just, free labor. It's like, hey, if you are serious about learning these things and you want my help, guess what? I actually have courses now. And not only that, I have not only coaching packages that people can buy, like, get an hour of my time to like sit and have a private conversation. I also sell a VIP coaching package, which is a full course of your choice. And it's also 2 hours of coaching, one before your first event or sex club visit, and then 1 hour after to debrief. And it's for those people who just need somebody to show up, even just metaphorically or virtually, and be there for them during a time of transition. And so I call it Rent a Friend Who Gives a Shit VIP coaching package, and it is available for purchase on my Level Up with Toronto Unicorn website. So these are the kind of things that I'm like, yeah, if there's somebody out there that thinks that it's worth their investment to get that dedicated support from me, then I will absolutely love to show up and be that person. But I can't do it for free, right? Like this is, people, unless I can clone myself, or if somebody wants to accept an AI chatbot version of me, then that'd be different. But that's not really where we are. So anyways, I hope you check out my site. Even if you don't plan on taking courses, just check it out. Give me some feedback. This is my baby. This is what I've been working on. This is the future of Toronto Unicorn. I'm going to hopefully be, a public speaker or, a sex educator, take my, my lessons and my information on the road, do workshops. I'm even looking into potentially collaborating on a hedonism trip, which is a trip to a swinger resort in Jamaica that's like famous for the swinger lifestyle. And so I'm even looking into potentially, running a workshop there and things like that. So this year is going to look different than last year, and it's definitely going to be different from 2022, 2023, and that's how it goes. But I have also felt that this journey building these courses and this website and fixing all the technical bugs and everything, it's also been lonely, okay? Because even though my friends support me and my boyfriend supports me, they don't know the system either. They don't know how to build, an email marketing system or workflow, for example, which is something I need, right? And now I have. They don't know how to help me. They're just sitting back watching me do this. And so it's been a little lonely because I'm the only one that's like accountable for this business adventure. And so if the payment doesn't work, or if my SEO, my search engine optimization isn't set up right, that's on me, right? And so all of this has been a bit of a lonely project, even though it's been really personally motivated. Like, I'm motivated to build this legacy of, here's what I learned, here's how to thrive. You don't even need me in real life anymore, theoretically, because you have the virtual evidence of what I know and what I've learned documented. Like, it is meant to be a time capsule. It is meant to outlive me. If I do pass on someday, I hope this content still stays up and live so that it helps people. This is a personal story about that, but when I was getting my sex drive back after 10 years of not having sex, it's a true story, and you can hear about that on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that video in the description of this podcast. There was this woman on YouTube that I watched, and she had this sex appeal, this sex energy that was like oozing out of her. And she had a good couple videos that really helped me remember that it was okay to even just to enjoy touching yourself, like your arm, right? If you're watching, I'm touching my arm. Just things like, if you're disconnected from your body for a long time, something like this is foreign to you, right? Just being like, yeah, you deserve pleasure. Like, it was so, basic, but it helped me so much. And it was then I realized, after I had kind of made some improvements in my life, I realized that the videos that I were watching were old because she had actually already died. She died young, but she definitely died. And even her son like had a video announcing that he was taking over the business and whatnot. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that. I just saw this energy in this woman convinced me that I was a sexual, energetic being too, and that it was okay and I could reclaim that. And this woman wasn't even on this earth anymore. And so if that woman can inspire me, I hope that my content inspires and helps people long after I'm gone. Every day looks a little different now, right? It's working on a website, or building a new course or a different lesson, or recording a full swap versus soft swap video and then editing it and proofreading. Every day looks a little different. But it's not the same, run to the club and here's a story about what I saw. And I think it is an interesting shift. So the diary is my favorite podcast. And even though it's not my biggest podcast by any means, it is my favorite because it will be with me no matter what I'm doing. My Sex and Swinging podcast has gotten a little dry over the last 6 months. I haven't had as many episodes as I usually do. Why? Because I don't have as much to say. I think I've covered a lot of ground. I have like 80 something episodes. So what else is there to say? And unless I get a really interesting interview or topic, I'm not just going to make content for the sake of making content. And so that's kind of set, with a couple months even going without an episode. And so, those podcasts might be time capsules as well. And that's the thing about Dear Diary is, yeah, it's also a time capsule, but it's different. It's covering me as Sarah, not just TorontoUnicorn. And Sarah is going to go through a lot of things, whether TorontoUnicorn does as well. And so what's really funny about that is that if you go back and watch Dear Diary from the beginning, I haven't, but if you look at the titles recently, you'll see how lost I have been on this journey, where I didn't know 2 steps ahead of me what was coming, right? And so the fact that I've landed after, I don't even know how many episodes I have on Dear Diary, but the fact that after all these episodes, I'm like, so I've launched a business and it's an online course. Like, don't take that for granted. You can go back and listen to me being like, what do I do with my life? What do I do with my education about sex clubs? Like, should I build a course? Should I write a book? You'll see that whole journey as well. And you might find it relatable or just fascinating to hear about, but it's a journey nonetheless, and it's real and it's raw and it's honest, and it's not always glamorous what I do, but it is always real. So outside of that, I would say my life has been not much other than that lately. I just finished doing my taxes a couple days ago, and that is like the worst part of my year. So it is what it is, but that's done. And so I don't know what's really coming up, right? I don't have any big plans to go to the club. I don't have any bukkake night events coming up. And so it'll be interesting to see, where I am even at the next diary check-in. Like, what have I been up to? Because I don't really know. I mean, maybe I'll take up a new hobby. Maybe, I'll find something to do outside of content creation for a while, right? It is getting springtime and we've been dealing with a long, cold winter and snow. Maybe I want to do something outdoors instead of making content all the time. So I don't know. We'll see. But I will tell you this. I don't know where I am going to end up. I don't know where this Toronto Unicorn journey is going to lead me, but I am damn proud of the fact that I took a chance on myself at 34 when I was lost in life, and I found my way home to myself. And if anything, I would love to leave a legacy of helping people do the same. Now, not everybody is going to find themselves going to a sex club like I did, and fair enough. You might be on a different journey, but there's still something in learning from someone else's courage and seeing somebody else's, risks that they take on themselves pay off that might just inspire you to do the same. I don't know if this business is going to be successful, right? My level up with Toronto Unicorn. I'm waiting for the business to start rolling in. Right now I'm past the testing phase. It's now live and I'm waiting for customers to come, and I'm just starting to advertise it like yesterday on my podcast and today. So it's an exciting time. I really hope this business works out, not just for my own sanity and financial, impact, but because it's genuinely meant to help and reach those people who need it. And I think people will genuinely be better off at the sex club and the swinger lifestyle and in life with some of the tips and tricks and even life hacks that I've packaged into them. And my favorite part of doing all of these lessons was when I also got to tell all of my best stories about the lifestyle, and I always baked them in with a lesson. Because how did I learn all this? Well, I learned this from walking and walking and talking the unicorn life. And so, one of my episodes about, couples to watch out for, the stories in that one are just so funny. Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it there for this episode. I loved checking in. This is the first content I have made in weeks that is not going up on my Level Up website. It's been a while since I made a podcast episode. So thank you for your support. And thank you for listening. I hope you do check out my website, my Level Up, and you can even try out the free lesson that I have, and you can leave a comment and let me know you did, and it would mean the world to me. And if you do, please review it. I need my courses to be reviewed. People need to know what other people think about them to help make their own purchase decisions. So if you could also review the courses you take, it would mean a lot. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, you can go to my fan page for all the extra content and to DM me and, even ask me 1 or 2 questions there. Absolutely. So I'll talk to you there. If you're on YouTube, you should know that there is additional episodes that are certainly not on YouTube because they're just not going to be appropriate here. And so if you want the rest of my Dear Diary podcast, you're going to have to go to either Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And you can get the missing episodes there, especially because some episodes are censored for YouTube and they might be like a minute or 2 longer on the podcast. And so you might as well just get the full thing, right? So